Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. I wanted to have a journal flip through on my latest, and boy, is this one has really taken me a long time. Back in February, a friend of mine, we challenged each other to do a alphabet glue book. And let's see, what is today? May. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what date it is. Anyways, it's in May. And I just finished mine today. So, I was excited. I wanted to come on and do a little video of it. I will try to flip through pretty quick so I don't hold you too long. Please bear with me for the lighting. The sun keeps going in and out today, so it might get brighter and it might get a little darker. But anyways, just wanted to show you what I ended up concocting in my little glue book / junk journal alphabet book. Okay, so here we go. So first of all, I used a hardbound cover that had the spiral notebook type ring, okay, except mine grew so big that I had to take the spiral off, and it took me quite a while to figure out how to put it back together. But I was really thrilled once I figured it all out. So here we go. So number one, I have a piece of hand-dyed fabric with ferns on it that I thought looked really pretty with the colors that were on the journal cover. I didn't want to cover this. I know it's like shiny a little bit, but it's just so pretty. It's like a toile, and it's tan and beiges and a little bit of, it's got a little rosy color to it, and I just thought it was so pretty. I thought, I am not going to cover this up. So anyways, here we go. So I'm going to take this off, put it over here. So first of all, my journal measures 10 1/4 this way, 8 1/4 this way, with a 3-inch spine. And I think when I started with the notebook, it was 1 inch. So you can see why I had to come up with a new way to put this monster back together again. So it was really interesting doing an alphabet book because I thought, oh, this will be a piece of cake. We can get it done in February. We got 29 days, and we only have 26 letters in the alphabet. So if we do one every day, we'll have it done by the end of February. Well, little did I know how long it would take to come up with things for each letter. So just a warning, if you ever say, oh, I'm going to make an alphabet book, give yourself plenty of time, okay? So anyways, let's open it up, and I'll show you the first page. Now this I did do like just a piece of scrapbook paper that I had to do the inside cover. And this is how I ended up joining, because this journal was one of those that has the little rectangle cutouts all the way up where the ring feeds and spirals through each page, okay? So what I did is I first covered that area where they had the cutout slots. I covered it with a real solid hard scrapbook paper. And then what I did was I took my and I learned this from Wendy, by the way. Wendy loves junk journaling. Wendy loves journaling. I'm sorry, Wendy. But go over and check her out. I mean, she makes the most beautiful journals. But I watched one of her videos on attaching page by page with fabric. So I thought, okay, I'm going to pull out my ribbon. So I found this old ribbon that I had. So I attached the cover to the first page. And then I will show you as we go along what it looks like. So I'm going to move this over just a smidgen so you can kind of see. I need to really tilt it up a little bit. There we go. So for my A's, I have, of course, I stenciled an A. I have a little tiny patch here that says Abba, which is father, okay? I have Arwen and Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. And then I have little pockets here I know, it's supposed to be a glue book. Okay, there shouldn't be any pockets in a glue book, but sorry, I got pockets in mine. So I did a little angel, and inside is another little angel tag. And plus you can journal on the back of that one. And then over here I had another angel and an apple. And then in my envelope is the poem by Edgar Allan Poe of Annabel Lee. And then my paper clip I covered up with just another piece of this ribbon here. And then my tabs I had some really vintage, we're talking probably I'd say 1940s, 50s. This is the real rayon silk velvet ribbon. So I made my tabs out of that. Okay, I'm going to have to fight back and forth with this book because it's so big. I'm so sorry. Whoops. Oh, Lord. Bear with me here. Bear with me. We'll get through this. Okay. Now, one of the books that I used to find items to use was a set of old encyclopedias. And I came across this, and his name was Edward Lear, and it's called The Unnatural History Alphabet. And what he did was he took each letter and he made this crazy little poem to go with it, just to get kids interested in learning the alphabet in a wonky way, I guess you could say. So anyway, so each letter has one of his things. I have another little angel here. I have a piece from an old dictionary of the description of an angel. I have an ace card. Down here I put the definition of appreciate. I thought that was kind of neat. I have an alligator. And then here I have aquamarines in different colors. And then another alphabet A and a little gold tassel on my paperclip. And then we go to the bees. And I have birds and bunnies and hummingbirds and beets and beans and butterflies. And I have a couple of tag tucks there with the birdies. I put some lace under that one. And then over here we have, sorry, I'm going to have to keep juggling this because of the way I got my camera set up here. I keep begging my husband for an articulating arm that I can put on the end of my table so I can do it overhead so I won't be fussing back and forth like this. But in the meantime, you make do with what you have. So on the back side of the bees, I have a butterfly in the description from a dictionary. I have a bush baby. I think he's so cute. And then again, butterflies. And a bear with honeybees. And a barn. And this one says, the bountiful beetle who always carried a green umbrella when it didn't rain and left it at home when it did. So those are the kind of rhymes that this guy came up with, teaching the kids how to do an alphabet. Okay, so now at the C's, we have castles and cabbages. And this is the coronation seat, which sits in Westminster Abbey today. It's called the Stone of Destiny. And it's where the Celtic kings were crowned. And then they eventually moved it to Westminster in 1296. But how I came up with this phrase of the cabbages and kings is from Alice in Wonderland. And it says, the walrus said to Alice, the time has come to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings. And then I just wrote that it was from Alice in Wonderland. And so it just fit perfect for the C's. Whoops. And they just fell out. How about that? Let's try this again. Oh, these are just cabbages, and I put the, I had some stones like a carnelian and chrysoberyl. Oh boy, that's a mouthful there. But anyways, those are the gems. Okay, let's go over here now. And then on the back of the C's, I did chickens and cows. And I've got some tucks. and some descriptions from the dictionary. And this one is the comfortable, confidential cow who sat in her red Morocco armchair and toasted her own bread at the parlor fire. He must have been a very interesting person. I would have loved to have met him in person. What a conversation you could have with him. All right, now we're on the D's, and this is one of my favorite pages right here. I love on the old maps how they used to put, and here there be dragons, because they didn't know, it was unknown territory, and they didn't know if there was, sea serpents or dragons or whatever. Okay, so I've got a description of a dragon. I found him online, gorgeous. I found this map which has the dragon, and it says here be dragons, and then here was just another piece of dictionary paper, and I wrote on there the same thing. And then there's a white dragon here, and then this dragon with the wings, and then I have this little cutesy little dragon outside of a castle that you could journal on. I tried to keep the journal part, I tried to stick to being a glue book, but it doesn't always work. And then on the back of the D's, I have deer and dogs and ducks. And this one is the Dolompius duck who caught spotted frogs for her dinner with a runcible spoon. I have never had a runcible spoon. I have no idea what it means, but I think it's cute. Then the E's, I did Egyptian. You can see these are all tucks that come out that you can write on the back of each tag. And then there's 2 tags here. And this is the Great Halls of Karnak, which is in, I believe, Luxor, England, or Egypt. But I just thought it fit really good. I thought it looked really cool. And then on the back, of course, we have to have elephants. And then I have an emerald up here. And these are all tags that you can write on the back. And it says, the enthusiastic elephant who ferried himself across the water with a kitchen poker and a new pair of earrings. And then the F's, I did fairies and flying saucers. And there's this little poem. Says, come up here, O dusty feet. Here is fairy bread to eat. Here in my retiring room, children, you may dine. On the golden smell of broom and the shade of pine, and when you have eaten well, fairy stories hear and tell. I just thought that was cute. And of course, then there's the fairies there, and a little fairy here. And then I have the flying saucers. I found this one. This is from an old sci-fi movie. It's a little tuck that I put in there. I thought that was so cool. The flying saucer. And then I put Take Me to Your Leader, where it says, and it's got the description of flying saucer. And then this picture and this picture are from one of my favorite movies of all time, The Day the Earth Stood Still. And this is Klaatu, who was the humanoid, and then Gork was the robot. And Gork was very powerful. But when he gets shot, he sends Patricia Neal, she played the part of the woman. He says, go over to and tell Gork, the robot. And he says, say these words, Gork, Klaatu, Virata, Nikto, which means, I'm dead, come and get me, basically. And so Gork goes over and gets him and brings him back to life. So, one of those old corny B movies, but I just loved it. Thought it was a great movie. Okay, and then on the back for the F's, I have fish. I have a flying fish, foxes, fans, and frogs, and flags. And then for the G's, I have grouse, gorilla, gecko, and a Gila monster, which, is actually Gila, but they pronounce it Gila monster. So those are my lizards there. I have giraffes. And then this is really neat. I found an old photograph of Geronimo. And he was a medicine man and a warrior for the Apache Indian tribe, or Native American tribe. and he lived 1829 to 1909. So a little bit of history I just kind of threw in there and to enjoy. And then on the back I have gypsies and goats and gooses, and this is a garnet, and of course Gone with the Wind, Clark Gable, and yeah, oh gee, what was her name? Oh, it'll come to me. And then the poem for the letter is The Good-Natured Gray Gull Who Carried the Old Owl in His Crimson Carpet Bag Across the River Because He Could Not Swim. Now you can see why it took me so long coming up with all these weird things, huh? Okay, for the H's, of course, we have horses all over the place. And there's the tag tuck there. And on the back, oh my gosh, we have more horses. But we also have the hasty higgledy-piggledy hen who went to market in a blue bonnet and a shawl and bought a fish for her supper. And then eyes, this one I got stuck on eyes. I was like, okay, what all I could think of was islands. And then I came across, I know it's not politically correct, but Indians, which are now Native Americans, but I admire these people so much that I wanted them in my journal. And regardless, I really respect them. So it's not that I'm being derogatory calling them Indians. But I look at that beautiful headdress, and you could just, I mean, look at that beautiful face. I could just see them doing their dance, okay? And this is Sacagawea, which I don't know if that's the same. I think that's a different woman than Sacagawea that we know of. And then these are two pictures of islands off the coast of England in the Channel Line, part of the Channel Islands. And then on the back, we have two more Native Americans and a lady. And then I couldn't find any pictures, but I have a description of Iceland here. And then it says, the inventive Indian who caught a remarkable rabbit in a stupendous silver spoon. And then the J's, oh my gosh, I got to speed up here. In the J's, I have jellyfish from an old child's book, Jack Sprat, Who Could Eat No Fat, His Wife Could Eat No Lean. I got that little poem, so you can journal on the back of that. I have a picture of John Glenn. And then for anyone who's watched Atlas Shrugged, I put Who is John Galt on there. And on this one, I've got a picture of Jupiter. And, of course, the Jack from cards with a little notebook here that you could journal in. And then a poem about the judicious, jubilant Jay who did up her back hair every morning with a wreath of roses, 3 feathers, and a gold pin. And then the K's, I have King Arthur Pendragon. I have a king card. I have the picture of the king who, this was George the Sixth, who replaced Edward the Eighth, who abdicated the throne to be with Mrs. Simpson. And then to go along with King Arthur, I have the sword and the stone that I put in there. A tea kettle, and then another king. This was King George V. And then over here we have kangaroos and a kimono. And this one says, the kicking kangaroo who wore a pale pink muslin dress with blue spots. And over here we have the L's, which are the lobsters and the lizards, and a lapis lazuli. And this says, the lively, learned lobster who mended his clothes with a needle and thread. And that's a tuck pocket there. This is another one of my favorite pages. That's all the lions and the lynx. And then I've got my description of a lamb here. And there's the lady with the lions. And there's a tuck spot here that you can write on the back of it. And then this, I love this poem, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. So you have a lamb turning into a lion. And I always think of the Lion of Judah when I see that strength that's in that lion's face there. And then the M's, I have moths and mastodons and Mona Lisa and a moonstone. So these are all cards that you can journal on the back. And on the back I have mousies, all kinds of little mousies. And I put Hickory Dickory Dock poem on that one. And this one says, the melodious, meritorious mouse who played a merry minuet on the pianoforte. It ends, I have Napoleon. Again, it's a card. Notre Dame. I have a nebula. And then a description of the nebula with a little card that you can write on. And then Nighttime in the City, I have. And then on this side we have another nebula, a nest, and a notebook I put in here. And this one is the nutritious newt who purchased a round plum pudding for his granddaughter. And then for the O's, I have the owl and the ocean and an orchid and an orangutan and an owl. And an opossum and an onion and an opal and an orange and an osprey and the obsequious ornamental ostrich who wore boots to keep his feet dry. This is another one of my favorite pictures. I love the piggies. They're so cute. I think that one's adorable. And of course this one too, little fat pig. But I love the pig here with the little piggies riding on the back. And then Mama's got the little piggies here. And then there's these piggies up in here. Nope, got a little stuck there. Okay. And then this one is chasing the mom and the pigs. And there's another piggy chasing them there. So that one was pretty easy. And then on the back I have penguins and puffins and polar bears and a parrot. And it says the perpendicular purple Polly who read the newspaper and ate parsnip pie with his spectacles. And the cues, I have Queen Mab from the Fairy Queen. Another Fairy Queen here. This is the Snow Queen. That was also in the fairy tales. And then Queen Nefertiti from Egypt and Queen of England, one of the Queens of England. Another card, and of course quilts, which is what I do for a living. It's quilt people's quilts. And on the back we have quails, different pictures of quails and quilts. And then it says the Quirolius, I can't pronounce that word, holy mackerel, quail who smoked a pipe of tobacco on the top of a tin tea kettle. And then ours, we have ravens and raccoons and record players and rabbits and radishes and the Ringling Brothers. And I wrote nevermore above the raven. And this is the rural runcible raven who wore a white wig and flew away with the carpet broom. And on the back we have Mount Rushmore. We have a rhinoceros. I thought this was really cool. Look at this picture. Isn't that neat? And we have roosters and reindeer. It's another really cool one there. Little poem about rain and a rhinoceros. In the S's we have snowmen and snow and sheep and squirrels and, oh, Wendy, squirrels. The Statue of Liberty, sheep again, and more squirrels. And a stone, sunstone. And let's see, what else we got here? We have, am I in screen? Barely, huh? We have a spider and a snail and sea lions and more snails. And then it says the Scroobius snake who always wore a hat on his head for fear that he should bite somebody. I thought that was pretty nice of him. The T's, we have tigers and turkeys and tomatoes and toucans. And again, that's a nice big tuck there that you can write on. And on the back we have tortoises, all different tortoises. The tumultuous Tommy tortoise who beat a drum all day long in the middle of the wilderness. Oh, and toads. We have toads there too, yes. For the U's, I did United Kingdom. I really got stuck on this one. So I just did all kinds of scenery pictures from United Kingdom. There's all kinds of tag tucks. Did the same on the back. The only thing I have different is about the umbrella. The umbrageous umbrella maker whose face nobody ever saw because it was always covered by his umbrella. And then the V's, I did Van Gogh and vases. That was another tough one. And on the back, I did vultures and volcanoes and vegetables. And the visibly vicious vulture who wrote some verses to a veal cutlet in a volume bound in vellum. And then the W's, I have wasps and walruses and whales and watermelons and windmills. And on the back, I loved how this one came out. I had these pictures of wolves, and I put a thing of water there, but what was really neat is this Indian chief here. His name was Chief Wolf Robe, and I thought how perfect, he was a Cheyenne, and how perfect that fit in with the wolves. And the X's was another very difficult letter. All I came up with was xylophone, X-ray, and King Xerxes from the Bible. And on the back, I just did a bunch of tags with X's on them. Didn't know what else to do. And the Y's, it's Yellowstone National Park. And the poem is the Yungy Bungy Bow, whose head was ever so much bigger than his body, and whose hat was rather small. And you can see this tiny little hat on his head. And then there's more pictures of the Yellowstone on the back. And then for the Z's, I did zebras. Yes, I did zebras. I found lots of pictures of zebras. But I also needed a couple of extra things, so I found a picture of an old Zeppelin picture. And then, of course, for those of you who remember, Led Zeppelin from what, the 70s? I guess that would have been 1970s. And the last little poem, the zigzag zealous zebra who carried 5 monkeys on his back all the way to Jelly Boli. So again, you can see how what I did was each page, I glued the next page down with the ribbon. So it allowed me to be able to open this up page by page flat. I'm going to do a tutorial on that, but it's pretty self-explanatory, but I will be doing a couple more videos on how I started joining these. And I really appreciate Wendy coming on and showing her video on how to do that, because it really helps me with this journal muchly, as some people would say. And then I put a little card in the back of signed it where I had made this. So that's my journal. I did use antique lace and hand-dyed fabric for the spine. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was so long, but there was a lot in there, and I just, after all these months of making it, I just wanted to come on and show you page by page because I was really excited about it. It will be for sale on my websites, which I will have a link below where you can, if you're interested, you can go and click on it. I also have other journals for sale, and I've got a lot more coming. So God bless everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.